Hello and a warm welcome, everyone. Welcome to our final webinar in this series of CMPL Connect on health and wellness. Like always, we've got an empaneled, distinguished panelists with us, from across the industry. We've got Sergio Rodriguez, who is moderating the session, who's the Strategy and Business Intelligence Director with Damon. Welcome, Sergio. It's a first for you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
We've got Mr. Prince Chatterjee, a known face now with CMPL, who heads the private label imports and international brand alliances with Health and Globe. Hello, Mr. Chatterjee.
Thank you, Vicky. Thank you so much. Lovely always coming back here.
Thanks very much. Saif, again, another familiar face now, who's the Associate Director with Grofers. He's been in our webinar on the cleaning category earlier. So it's great to have you back, Saif.
Thanks.
Mr. Harshpal Singh, who's the Managing Director with Ambe Phyto Extracts, who's one of the leading private label manufacturers in this segment. So he's great to add value to this session with his experience and insights. Hello, Mr. Singh.
Hi. Thank you.
And we've got Samir Sheikh. You've seen him for the last couple of years with CMPL, a great ambassador for us, a great supporter, and always been ready to take the initiative and help and support us as well. The regional head from Big Basket. Samir, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Great to have you guys on board. Just a quick line or two about Sergio, who's joining us from Portugal. He's been with the Damon Group for about 8 years, who's moderating this session today, and global experience with about 14 and a half years of experience in international retail companies covering sourcing, category management, and strategy functions. I think he's also had an experience as a private brand business developer with the Japanese retailer Aeon. And with his global private brand expertise, I'm sure he's going to add value and share his insights across the board through this panel. So I'll leave it to you, Sergio. The session is all yours.
Thank you so much, Vicky. Thank you for the nice words and for the introduction. It's a pleasure to be here. And obviously a warm welcome to all our attendees that are joining this session live. And if you just logged in, the key topic of today is going to be on health and wellness. And we're going to explore this, and you're going to hear firsthand key insights from our distinguished panel that is joining me today. One of the key things that we can say is that 2020 was definitely a year of wellness and health immunity, right? We saw that though before consumers were already becoming more conscious about their health and started to taking a proactive approach to health and wellness and exploring the relationship between the choices they make on the food, the drink they eat, but also the diets and the lifestyles they adopt. And how that impacts their quality of living throughout the different life cycles. The pandemic definitely has become a catalyzer to further accelerate this process. And it also made them shift their buying behavior and shift the way that they shop health and wellness related products. And having that said, one of the key questions that I would start addressing our panel is which products in this category do we see rising in 2021 and beyond? And to start this, I would address this question first to Prince and also to Mr. Singh so that we can hear from them as well.
Mr. Singh, why don't you start and then I follow you?
Yeah, thank you, Prince, giving me this opportunity, and thank you, Vicky, keeping me in your panel again for the health and wellness session. Definitely, I'm being from this health and wellness industry, will be able to address this question and the concern. Definitely, we have been, in almost for 1 year in a COVID era, we can say. And we talk about a lot about immunity, but as after 1 year and studying all the conditions, situation throughout the globe, we have come to a conclusion that there was some other factors like stress, cognitive health, which was, I think, a major concern. And immunity was the initially because we are talking about the infection, but after that pandemic, this was, I think, the major sector where the need and the concern is required, and it is being addressed globally. Because stress is not only the one actually the concern. There are a lot of lifestyle diseases which are starting or coming out of this. The cognitive health, the mental stress, and different kind of outcomes out of that is again a major concern in healthcare sector. But definitely, as this the webinar is all about the COVID-19 opportunity, I will definitely like to say that it has given us an opportunity to rediscover, the old habits, the old good habits, which leads to the holistic and the healthy life. And this is not only in immunity, but the personal hygiene we talk about our food habits, talk about our living habit. And the most important thing, what I understand is, the value of human being, the value of ourselves, we understand out of it. Immunity, as I told, remained a major concern, but the opportunities where arises are definitely the sports nutrition, the weight management, the gut health, and definitely the most important is the healthy aging, keeping ourselves fit to live longer healthy, not only just to live, but live longer healthy. These are the area of opportunity which arises from the COVID-19 pandemic. And we are now more focusing on how to keep our food healthy by making a balance on our food intake in terms of sugar, in terms of salt, in terms of fat, and adding some good uh, ingredients, we can say, in our food. Like we all know about the turmeric, but suddenly the turmeric was a buzz in the international market, not only in terms of the curcumin, but we heard a lot about turmeric latte, golden milk, and something and more. uh, Vitamin C, whether it is synthetic or whether it is from the natural sources, citrus fruits, or we say the amla, again was a major ingredient which is being used in health sector. So these are the different kind of opportunities arises in the different segment of healthcare, food, and all. Just to brief that Ambe is basically in manufacturing the active ingredients out of the natural sources, and we could associate with our valued partners throughout the globe to incorporate those ingredients in their formulations to make the product more effective. And the food more indicative to add a certain kind of elements, like whether it was the stress or it was the immunity or it was the gut health or kind of thing. Prince, over to you.
Thank you. I thought you have not left any room for me to respond. You've almost
No,
covered everything. But interestingly, I'll still give it an attempt. So interestingly, Saju, in my view, agreeing to what Mr. Singh was saying, I think general health would continue to become the first, most easiest and sought after option, because you don't need to really apply your brain. I need to keep my immune system fit. I need to keep myself fit. So general immunity boosters, I would see to be a great potential.
Sure.
This would also mean that there are rub-off effects into other segments. For instance, I could go on to explore how can I keep my, let's say, digestive system better. Can I take probiotics? So apart from my general fitness, can I take probiotics, which is good for my gut? So those kind of things will appear. In the business that I am in, which is health and beauty, we also find that there is an increasing demand to supplements which help hair regrowth, nail care, something to do with skin. So all in all, what I'm saying is probably my view, COVID was a wake-up call. So the general health is going to lead from the forefront, which will give a rub-off effect to many other supplements or many other supporting things, which is all opportunity for us as retailers or as manufacturers. And this is what the consumer would ask for. So those would be my views.
Sure. So just to layer over what Prince is saying, is actually like a wake-up call for all of us. See, apart from all these working things, I'm a sports enthusiast and I am a triathlete actually. So believe me, these healthy products, national products, products which are pesticides free, there's a huge demand in the market for this. I met a lot of people while doing my marathons or triathlon and all those things. So people are always talk about all these things. So people who are into fitness, health freak, and all those things, they keep talking about it. And just that this COVID thing comes up and give us an alarm. Yes, that everybody should like wake up. It's high time. One should look into all these kind of products which are like pesticide free and all those things. So I think it gains a lot of traction nowadays, and the consumer has become more conscious about it. Very true. Yeah.
Absolutely. Maybe I missed one excellent point which Mr. Singh pointed out. See, COVID also led us to have a lot of stressful life in a manner of speaking, because we never knew how to work from home, honestly. And staying 24/7 inside home comes with its own set of problems. Now, I'm sure, and I have seen a lot of my colleagues and friends get into depression, or they have kind of, some kind of anxiety developing. So I kind of tend to agree with Mr. Singh, probably even, something to do with energizers, mind energizers. And these are, I'm not talking about drugs, but something that keeps people healthy and fit, like what Saif is saying, or like what Mr. Singh is saying. I thought those would also be fantastic opportunities.
Yeah, Prince. Sorry, just to add on that, there the plenty of actually the natural ingredient which can be taken or which are being used either in terms of ingredients or the food ingredient. Like we all know that in India we use turmeric in our food, in our daily food, twice or thrice a day. All right. In the same way, the ginger, sometimes making the seasoning out of it, whether it is the chilies, oleoresins form, or you take it like in a bacopa for mind and stress, or means there are the plenty of herbs, and I think there is a segment which caters this requirement of say natural supplement, you can say, or the food ingredient.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And probably since Saif is here, Saif, you might even like to add what your previous company was doing, i.e., products like Brahmi, or products like, let's say, a Live 52, which is an iconic product in itself, or products like, let's say, Ashwagandha, maybe
Sure.
for general health, and so on and so forth. So quite
See,
interesting. We have,
if I tell you about the numbers only, so there are consumer research say that 55% consumers are intended to buy more products, which enables immunity during all these stuff. So this turmeric, Live 52, and all those things has come into picture. So earlier it was doing pretty good, but yes, believe me, in this pandemic phase, it is like skyrocketed. Products which are made up of natural high quality things, supplements like vitamin D, omega 3, probiotics things, and these things are doing very nice in the market. Everybody is like into demand. Live 50 is one of the regular product now for everyone. Like it's one of the main ingredient in breakfast also for the people who are more of a health conscious things and all. So it has like a bigger picture now. We have a space there inside. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, guys, for those insights. Those are valid. And I think the audience, aside from the key insights that you guys shared, also got all the passion that you have for this, which was really conveyed. I think picking up on what you guys said was key things are obviously that consumers are looking more not only to fight specific health related questions such as joint, gut, or even mental health, but they're also looking this as a more holistic view, so that to see all of this have impact in their overall well-being, and now that can help them as they go on age on the different life cycles. So tremendous on that. Obviously, one of the key things as we move on the discussion is that as consumers are more proactively looking for this type of information how to improve their health and well-being, one thing that we also notice is that they're becoming more avid label readers, and they look for the nutrition information to better understand what goes into their food or their products that they eat, or or take. And as they become more educated about the topic, they also start to have a greater interest about products that contain health boosting ingredients. And one of those such ingredients, and as an example of this case, was protein. I mean, protein is an ingredient that consumers pretty much know and trust, and has gained a lot of traction over the recent years. Now, the misleading part is that the majority of the consumers actually don't know the amount of protein that they need to take on a daily basis. So that takes to an overcompensating intake of protein that then has a health negative impact on their well-being. And that is a key question: is how can we actually communicate and educate consumers on this path? And that's what I would like also to explore here with you guys, which is, I mean, which initiatives have you taken to communicate and educate consumers on making healthier choices, and also how your private brand has been promoting those healthy food options for the market. And I would start here. Obviously, it's open to the rest of the panelists, but I'll start with Saif, and then also to have some input from Samir on this one. Okay.
Sure. So, sir, what you were saying, we have to look into the protein diets and all those things. So yes, it's right. Proteins and supplements, it should be a part of our daily life. But before going to that level, we should see what we should eliminate the things that we are having now. Like we are having food which is full of pesticides, insecticides, which are like very harmful for all of us. So the prime thing, the low hanging fruit is we should avoid food which is having all these destructing things like a pesticide-free product is one of the top consumer demand, right? If a product which are based on natural ingredient contains healthy supplements like omega-3 and what we were talking about, probiotic and all, it is one of the thing which is into a demand set of consumer now. 46% of consumer have increased spend on organic and healthy food. No, so in line of this consumer demand, we have added as a grower, we have added a complete range of pesticide-free grocery under the brand name of Whole Farm. You guys must know. So where we are not only delivering quality food, we deliver you the promise of health, safety, and happiness. So as a responsible organization, we always try to inform, guide consumers about the importance of healthy food, and always try to keep adding products in the portfolio, which not only makes you healthy, make you happy also. So that kind of initiative we guys are going on.
Hi, Sergio. Just to add on this, I think it is the responsibility of the manufacturer also to add on the information and the safety guidelines, especially in terms of the regulatory, because we are not talking about any particular country, but an international forum. Then the regulatory, the methodology part is very important on that, means how we communicate our product to the consumer and how we talk about, the safety and importance of it. What should be the dosage, what could be the overdoses of the product and should not be taken on that. It is again a very important part, and the manufacturer like us are the source of that kind of information. Like, okay, this is the good and this should be stopped or limited to that particular thing. Like pesticide, heavy metals definitely are a concern of the globe. But the new word you may have heard about the PH, polyaromatic hydrocarbons, which are the source from the pollution. Are again, the health concern in food, especially in food product we are talking about, because it is directly consumed. So the providing, the ingredients or the final product which is free from those kind of impurities or the contaminant is a responsibility of the manufacturer and definitely of you guys also who are selling or directly contacting the consumer.
Sajid, there were two questions which you had asked. Okay, first was what was the initiative which was taken for communicating and educating customers, and how we use our private label brands to promote the healthy food option. So we started emailers and messages to customers informing them about the wide range of organic products which we have and immunity booster products which we have. So from a range of we used to have around 20 or 30 products in the immunity booster range because there was not much demand for it, and certainly after this post-COVID, our range of immunity boosters certainly gone up from 70 to 80 range SKUs. Okay, so that we started communicating the range also to the customers, the kind of options which we have, all the organic products which we have. We started communicating those to the customers. There was huge demand in the sections like baked products and roasted products. especially the snacks option. So we started a lot of new products in that particular range. Okay, which is basically all the baked snacks. We also saw a demand in the immunity booster powders. Okay, which is like moringa powder. There was a demand for that. We're planning to have some products in that range. Brown rice chips. Okay, because brown rice is a healthier option, so we started making brown rice chips. In beverages, there was options of giloy juice, which was and tulsi juice, aloe vera juice, which was suddenly showing good in demands. Also in the snacks option, also apart from the adults, there was a kids section also. Okay, which customers were looking for the kids. So we started creating an options for the breakfast, for their afternoon evening snacks, and later for the dinner. So that that we have range showing that how much protein, how much carbohydrates, and all those things are there in each of the product, so that even parents can decide according to the age group of the kid whether which product is more beneficial for the kids. So these were some of the things which we have done, looking at the trends of the market.
Absolutely, absolutely. And thank you
Sanju,
for sharing that.
Sanju, if I could add some of my thoughts.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a completely different thought to all the panelists here. In my view, we are still scratching the surface of information relating to these products in India, and we have not even come to a position where we can say that we have even started it well. For example, it's anyone's choice. The information, there are contradictory information and plethora of information available across. So you go to the net, someone will tell you aloe vera juice is good, someone will tell you aloe vera juice is not so good. And then you turn on the television and you will find some yoga gurus telling you you should have this and you should have that. So in my view, I don't think neither the industry or neither the retailers have yet begun the work towards disseminating the right information to the consumer. So what is the consumer doing today? So the consumer's basically picking up what he or she feels is good for them. And it's all left to the local level, or that is you go to a shop and then there is a person to interact with you. Either you are influenced by that person's information exchange, or alternatively you pick up the packet, see it for yourself, understand part of it, and say, hey, look here, this is quite good, and you buy it. So I don't think we have still even started thinking about how this should move, what is a good information. It's only on the facts right now. And consumers have really started lapping up everything because of the panic situation which got created because of COVID. So someone tells me curcumin is excellent and it's 5,000 years old. I really don't know, but I believe so because my mother tells me, my grandmother told me, and I start having curcumin. Now, what is a dose? Everything has a dose for it. You have rightly pointed out. Protein has a dose. Minerals should have a dose. We don't really care. I mean, as long as you put it here and put it there in your coffee, in your milkshake, and you have it. So my view is, I think we are at a very poor state.
Prince, I need a moment out of your time, but definitely the government and the regulatory the authorities are strictly following those kind of guidelines. Whether you talk about the FSSI, who is regulating the food safety in India, or you talk about the Ayush, which is regulating the Ayurvedic and even the herbal and natural ingredients. Even FSSI has now a vast range of herbal ingredients in their portfolio, where they have clearly defined about the good and bad of that, defined the minimum and the maximum doses to get a claim out of it. So that is not like exactly what definitely Indian market means, although all over the globe it is well regulated. In India, it is now well regulated, and even the manufacturer or the seller has to have responsible for whatever they are having in their product and whatever they are claiming out of their label. Even there are the regulations that you cannot have anything misleading on your label. So I'm not sorry, but I'm not agree that there are not that kind of, there are a good regulations and the government authorities are regulating those things about the doses, about the good and bads of each and everything, especially what we are consuming.
No, so Mr. Singh, my point was not about the regulation. My point was, what is the information which is going to the consumer and how is the consumer actually responding to those information?
Yeah.
So for instance, if I buy a Leaf 52 here, and the Leaf 52 pack actually says I can have 2 tablets twice a day, I as a consumer might even have double the dose. And Saif, I'm sure there would be many people doing that. You know, taking double doses. Now that cannot be guided by regulation, and that cannot be enforced on the company, because the company has actually prescribed this is the maximum dose or this is the optimal dose.
Minimum or the maximum.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
can be done by the consumer, like itself. The consumer should be aware of that. You are right. Somebody is having problem in the liver. They started the doses should be 2 tablets. He started taking 3 tablets, subah, dopahr, sham type, 3 times in a day. That's all. Right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I think just recapping a little bit of everything that everyone said is that this, for sure, it's a combined effort. It's not an effort from the industry. It's not an effort from a retailer. It's a combined effort, and we need to make it clear, not only from a packaging perspective, but make sure that the consumer becomes aware of exactly what is that message being broadcasted. And also connecting with what Saif and Samir you guys shared is that when we look at the options that are now being made available for consumers, we want to make sure that we're putting healthier options in what consumers are typically already consuming. We don't want to make the diverge from what is their eating habits. We want to make is having healthier options made available for what is the typical diet that they have, so that they can make and incorporate those into their daily lives. Obviously, there's still a long way to go. I think we can all agree there's still a lot to do. But obviously, we are already taking the right steps, and we're making sure that we're propelling this forward to aim to that target. And now, when we're connecting this with private brand, and one key thing is that when it's private brand, we're talking about it's not only a product, it's not only a brand, it's also a commitment from the retailer, from the banner, to the consumer. It's their promise being transformed into a product or a brand to the consumer. So it's critical that we excel in all areas of the private brand. And when we look at this, I mean, when you are onboarding a new supplier for your private brand program, what do you typically look for or focus on what that supplier should have to bring added value to your business, but also to your consumer and to your value proposition for them? Prince, Saif, do you want to share some inputs here? But obviously, it's open for the rest.
Sure. So not our supplier only. It's like partner. It's not like when somebody is getting onboarded, the liability of that product comes on the company or the vendor and all those things. No, it's a partner. It's a collaborative and mutual approach to build a brand, right? So while onboarding a new supplier or a partner, we ensure that 3 things. One is obviously the quality. He should serve quality product. There should not be any compromise on the quality front. Whatever the product he is coming up, the vendor or the manufacturer, he should have that the quality mark should be on the top. The second is quick. He should anticipate and give quick response to the consumer. It will not get the product should get on time. It's not like that we are making the quality product, but the demand is today and we are supplying it the day after tomorrow or tomorrow, something like that. So the second thing should be on the part of quick or the smartness or the how fast you are releasing the results. And the third thing which we should see is the longevity. Like as there is a saying, success is all about persistent and doing right things for the long term. So the longevity with the manufacturer is very important. If somebody is coming up and try to crop the yield in a month or 2 months or short span of time, it's not working. You should vendor or manufacturer should look these alliance on a longish terms. It's a long term thing. So these 3 things only.
Thank you for sharing.
I thought Saif, you summarized it well. So Saif, my response would be all of the above plus.
Okay.
I'd probably say the pedigree of the manufacturer. So that's very important for me. What's your lineage? What's your pedigree? Whom are you working with? What has been your past performance? which all brands have you actually participated, or which all retailers have you participated. So those are very important determinants for us to identify, will it work? Is it a good partnership or not? Humorously, it's like marrying your girlfriend. So you might have half a dozen girlfriends, but you'd like to get yourself married to that girlfriend who could be your wife, which is long term, etc. Which I've said. So that's pedigree is something that we'd be very concerned. I would be very concerned. The second is about understanding what you do, the processes that you follow, the kind of factory and infrastructure that you have. How do you maintain your infrastructure? So many times I have actually seen big, large-scale manufacturers, but when I went to their factory, it was appalling. I was not absolutely happy about it. Now, very simple thing. If you can't keep your factory clean, I know you can't do my business well. Now, I have even, visited very small factories, absolutely spick and span. Now, part of my job is to actually go and see different factories globally, European Union, Far East, and that's what I do for a living. So how you maintain your factory, how you maintain your workers, what kind of an infrastructure that you have, and I'm essentially not mentioning that you have to be a wealthy manufacturer, but all that I'm saying is, are you in the right position given your scale? That's the number two thing that we will like to evaluate. Right. And third, most importantly, would be a mental fitment. My goalpost versus my manufacturer's goalpost. If we're quite aligned, if he is able to see my vision, if he is able to articulate my vision, I know the match is done. Of course, I'm leaving the commercial pieces aside. Those are some of the considerations we, of course, make, which Saif rightly pointed out. Can it be long-term, the consistency and so on and so forth. But leaving that aside, I thought these would be the three major things that I definitely make it a point on my checklist.
Absolutely. And thank you for
I
sharing.
totally agree with Prince. At times we have met a lot of vendors wherein everything from the commercials falls in place, but the thought process doesn't match. And if the thought process doesn't match, it doesn't go forward. So at times it is must, so that because it's not a short-term relationship, it's a long-term relationship. When we associate our private label brands with any of the manufacturer, so hence the thought process should match.
Totally. So obviously, I mean, and just recapping what you guys said is, we want to make sure that it's consistent. Obviously, it needs to have the experience in working this, but it needs to have also that quality level that you want to offer your clients in the end. Absolutely. And most of all, it's not about the quick wins. It's about the long-term partnership, because it's not something that we want to start and then get another supplier into this to manufacture the same thing. We want to have this continuously, so that also our consumers are happy and can have this consistency level across the year and the many years, and obviously keep them coming for more. That's a key part of it as well. Now, one of the main difficulties that we saw last year, and I think we're still facing this year, hopefully it will end soon, is that we all went remotely, working from our office to home office, which was an experience that we're still trying to adapt, I would say, to a far degree. And as Prince, you were saying that one of the things that you do, obviously, is go to factories, visit the facilities of the manufacturer. More than reading a brochure or seeing a PPT, we want to make sure that what they say is actually what they're doing, right? And we want to make sure that facilities are there, the quality, the procedures, the standards are all there. And obviously, that becomes a little bit difficult when we're remotely working and we are not able to visit or and so on. So one of the key questions, I mean, I would have for the audience, and I would like Samir to give us that perspective, is that how can we manage this from a retailer perspective, and how can we what are the learnings that we can take from this experience moving forward, so that we also make this onboarding quicker, but also create the right blocks or the right filters to make sure that the suppliers that we're putting on board are fully vetted and are according to the program and the standards that we need for our private brand program.
So how it was happening in Breadbasket was that one was identifying and shortlisting the product, and another was shortlisting of the manufacturer. Okay, the shortlisting of manufacturer was pretty much faster, and onboarding the vendor was pretty much faster. But shortlisting of the product, okay, was taking time, because until as the product goes the entire quality test from our side also, it doesn't get approved. Initially, what we used to do was like Prince said, we used to go to the factory, see the product personally, and approve it. Now, because the travel restrictions was there, so until unless we see the product, it was not approved. So the manufacturer has to courier the products to our respective house, and we used to go through the products, get the quality testing done, and eventually we used to sign up the product. So the launching of the products was getting delayed, okay, but the onboard of manufacturer was much faster, because we didn't onboard any new vendor during the entire COVID period, because we were focusing more on the current manufacturer list which we have as a partner, and try to onboard them and made new products through them only. So we didn't onboard any new vendors, but we launched a lot of new products, and the launching of those products took time because of the travel restrictions. Now at least there's lesser travel restrictions, so at least we can go and see the products, wearing all the necessary equipments and all, and give the necessary approval. So at least that has helped us to launch product much faster now. But during COVID, this is what we had done. The launch of product was taking time.
Perfect.
See, what Samir is saying is very true for Grofers also. So during pandemic, we have not onboarded any new vendor as such for the fulfilling, because we were having existing vendors or partners with us, which is a right set of vendors actually. They ensure 100% safety and hygiene, and they are capable of delivering quality product as well. So we have launched some new product like the Samir was saying also in our platform, but with the same vendor set, we have not changed the vendor set, because technology has helped us in a whole new way, like factory visits on live calls, online quick checks, videos, and all those things. And I think these solutions are reversible. So going forward, these things will be a regular practice. So this helped us, and it actually speed up the process also. So first we have to plan for the travel, quality people are going, and a lot of things are coming up. So all this pandemic and the help of this technology speed up the process. That's I guess irreversible. We'll keep doing this thing.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Probably I can add a couple of points from my side.
Sure.
During the pandemic, I did two things really. One was quantum leap. I used the technology, and one was very old-fashioned. Now, the old-fashioned is call up a friend whom you believe and check for a reference. Now, for example, Mr. Singh, we work with his company. I've not been to his factory. So how it happened was, I have an industry friend whom I trust, and he represents a very large company. And he spoke very highly about Mr. Singh, and he said, look here, before pandemic, I went to his factory, and this is my mind map of his factory. Now, that was one old-fashioned thing I relied on, because I had to rely on something. The other is, of course, use of technology. I have often seen that people are very happy to show what they do. People are very happy to show their kitchens, their factories, their backyard, and say, look here, this is what I do. And use of technology, as Saif, you've rightly pointed out. So how do we navigate? These are new change management. So we'll have to unlearn few things and learn few new things. So these are some of the things that probably is useful. I have used a few of them. It works for me. But is it a complete replacement? Probably the answer is no. So we'll still have to make factory visits, but all of those steps could now be substituted by few of those steps.
Sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And with that segue, I would take it also to Mr. Singh to give us his perspective from a supplier view. I mean, what can facilitate this onboarding process quicker? I mean, we've heard from the others that having a trust relationship and having that bond between retailer and manufacturer is key, so that you create that bond and you make sure that what you're saying is actually what you're providing. But also, I mean, from your experience, Mr. Singh, how do you see suppliers and what can suppliers do to facilitate also this process in the end?
Yes, Ajit, the first thing first is understanding the global market and the situation around us, and definitely the need of time, I can say, because whether it is the manufacturer or the retailer, they are in a same ecosystem. And if we are already in tune with the ecosystem, we understand what is going on, what is in the demand, or what will be the next requirement for the kind of things. Like fortunately during the pandemic we were not ready to serve that kind of demand what generated during the COVID, but yes, we could a little bit could make our assumption that okay, this may happen or this kind of things may be in a demand, and we could prepare ourselves accordingly. Definitely, the international exposure and what we learn out of that exposure means the experience help us to serve our customers to whom we are making the private label and serving the private brands or making the contract manufacturing. These are the few points where we take a first step initiation towards. Sometimes we contact to our customers and discuss about the possibility of some new segment or the new product or new categories, and they then take it up for the market. But out of that, international approvals like certifications of your facility, because when you have a certifications, you are being audited by the international authorities, then that gives you another confidence to your buyers that, okay, you are audited by so and so, whether it is a BRC from European or it is FDA, US FDA kind of things, or whether it is food safety or like that. Then again, the good team, good infrastructure, and the most important thing, willing to collaborate with your partners. Like I'm really happy, Saf, to address us like as a partner, because
Obviously, it's a mutual effort.
it gives the honor when being in a partner with someone. And like Prince, you really put some extra sweets on that when you call like a girlfriend. Very good relationship. But here I would like to take a few minutes out of this discussion to introduce my company, that how we do and how we serve the global market. We basically the ingredient manufacturer, then making a contract manufacturing and private label in healthcare as well as in the personal care also. And definitely for that we need to have an infrastructure. Fortunately, we have our in-house R&D, which is DSI approved, which is the government of India approval. And then we have 3 facilities for the different kind of product. Like for the personal care, we have a separate facility. Ingredient, we have a separate facility. And out of that, to manage those, we definitely need a qualified a professional team who understand. Like I really appreciate to be part of the discussion with you guys, because you have the next level experience and exposure. Then the team is very important. And definitely, if we can suggest something, we can come out with some good product or good ideas, or otherwise to accept your ideas and make it a real happening and deliver you in terms of the product which is acceptable and adaptable to the market, to the consumer demand. Like and if we can serve something which is clinically proven effective or toxicology tested, means clinically proven safe to the human being, especially when we talk about, say, the age people or kids or like that, we definitely need to ensure the safety of the customer first, rather than selling the product or making it healthier or like that. But each and every product has to be as safe. These are, I think, some inputs which, or the support which the manufacturer like us can give to the marketing team, and they deliver them to the consumer.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. And that's it. I mean, I would also now ask also Saif, Prince, and Samir to share a little bit. I mean, what kind of research, and picking up on words that Mr. Singh just shared, and the process that he detailed for us from a supplier perspective. I mean, what research goes into launching a private brand in the health and wellness category, but now from looking at from a retailer perspective, what does it come into place?
Sure. So, shall I, Sami?
You can go. You can go, Saif.
Yes, please, sir. Go on.
Okay. Okay. So if I talk about researches, obviously there are a lot of research going on. So if I cascade it into anticipate and action, right? So let me share an example about my new launches of Whole Farm, which is a pesticide-free grocery in our platform. So first we have to anticipate that health and wellness has become the priority, and going forward, this consumer need. So we have to see the need or the demand is there in the consumer side. So we have started our research through internal and external consumers. We fuel our energy in consumer understanding and like what they need. What is the need of a consumer? How much they need? What should they we do to ensure quality and hygiene for them? Right. So first is how to anticipate that demand. Is there any demand? Then we start working towards mapping that demand into a supplier who can ensure top quality product with three-stage quality checks to keep the goodness of products intact. And there should be a transparency about the food also, like from the first stage where the crop is coming up to the last level till the packaging is done. It should be transparent. Transparency means it should be properly hygienic. We know what is the process. Consumer can be aware. If consumer want to know, okay, how you guys are processing all these things, so it should be like that. All things, all procedure is a thoroughly going through in a transparent manner. And finally, that action is started. We procure, ensure quality, and start delivering the promise of health and safety like that. So that there's two things for my side: the anticipate and action.
Sajja, apart from what Seth said, so normally whenever we launch our private label, the objective, one of the objective is to fill the gap. Now that gap can be in terms of range, or it can be in terms of the margin gap, and that's why we launch a private label, right? And so during in this health and wellness category also, the objective is more or less same, right? If the category itself is very niche and very small, even if you take 50% of the pie, the MOQ will not get matched. Okay, then eventually the commercials will not match and things will not fall in place then, right? So apart from what Seth said, these are few of the things where how much big is the pie and how much share can be taken once you launch your private label, and is it feasible? Because if it's not feasible, initially the partner will try to match the requirements and all and take some hit, but eventually if it's not win-win for both, then it doesn't make sense. So initially, that's very critical to identify how big the pie is and how much you plan to take the share in, and then it is feasible or not.
So,
Absolutely, absolutely. I would say I think connecting with what you both just said and shared with what Mr. Singh shared earlier is that we need to make sure that both up and downstreams are connected, so that from a source of supply till the end consumer, that it's relevant for both ends. Because otherwise, you're developing high standard product, but then there's no consumer, and if consumer wants something, then you don't have the source of supply. So obviously, everything needs to fall into a loop that we make sure that it's well tied in and connected. Uh, just a quick question, Vicky. We're coming up to the hour mark. We still have
Yeah,
time for another question.
yeah, we can do.
Okay, perfect. Then I'll address the team here. Another question for our panelists, which is looking to this year and the next. I mean, I would like to each one of you to identify. I mean, what are the three priorities and three challenges that you're facing when developing a health and wellness proposition, and that can deliver better nutrition. And the reason we were asking this is obviously because reformulation has become a key priority over the past years, and it has shifted. Even reformulation has been shifting across the years. We've seen that initially the focus was very much on fortifying the products with added vitamins, minerals, and we saw that also with protein. nowadays the reformulation is more taking a clean label perspective, which is taking out ingredients that might be harm for your health, and we already discussed that, being those pesticides or even artificial colorings or flavorings that you can add to the food, and making it more healthy proposition as a nutrient perspective for the consumers. But obviously moving forward, I mean, and this is relatively easier to say than to do, because we got so used to the food that we eat and drink that sometimes taking an ingredient out, it's very easy, but then the taste is not there, the quality is not there, even the looks and feels of the product is completely different, and then consumers don't like it. So it's not an easy task in the end to achieve. So obviously, having that in mind, I mean, I would like each one of you to share a little bit of what are the top priorities and challenges for you in facing this moving forward. Okay.
Sure. So, if I talk about, see, I'm talking about as a marketer this time, and also as a consumer, right? So, we have already living in a contaminated atmosphere, right? The polluted air, water, undisciplined lifestyle has become, see, all these things has become a part of our life, right? But yes, what three priorities we should look into is, we should avoid artificial ingredients, top of the thing which you are talking about. The product should be like pesticide free and all, because it gives a healthy push to the person, and obviously the product will come up with a nice manner. Secondly, we're considering the value, it should add life to the consumer. Like product benefit is, it should be very loud, it should clearly define. It's not like that another product in that trail. So product benefit is one thing which should come up. And the thirdly, approachable to the consumer, approachable in terms of pricing, what Samir was talking some time back, and against to the taste palette also. Once you get into wellness and health proposition, the taste palette has been changed. It is not like that the earlier product which had certain chemicals and all. So because of that, avoiding all those things, taste a little bit, a taste palette has changed. So this would be the priority. And yes, in terms of challenges, so first thing which I have experienced in my last organization as well, the product aesthetics has been changed. Once you get into health or wellness wala portfolio and you start using natural products, so aesthetics of the products change. Like toothpaste has become brown. So we used to very habitual to see white toothpaste, red toothpaste. So the Ayurveda and all those toothpaste has become brown. So people was like, "Arey, to brown toothpaste it doesn't look pretty." And also aesthetic is one challenge. We should address it. And the second major thing is quicker results. So everybody want whiter teeth. Whiter teeth, if you add bleach in that, badly put, so it may give result in a week time, same as sensitivity also. But once you add on, remove the chemicals and add on the natural thing, so the result is maybe delayed, not delayed, it's maybe slow. But yes, for sure, it would be benefited in a longish term for yourself. And third challenge with all these things, the new health and wellness portfolio is myth about pricing. It is perceived as an expensive product, right? But actually, the value of money is very high. You may get the quality product with a very small increase in money. So initially, it looks like an expensive product, but once you start using it, it was like a very small amount you are seeding into the product, and out of that, you will get a good value. So these things.
Well, to me, I thought, Saif, again, thanks for articulating almost all of it. But if I have to articulate my response, to me, I thought the following would be important. One, uh, the final output, I'd call it as WIBI, will I buy it? So with the entire exercise that we do, all the factory audits, everything on earth we did, the final output which comes, will I buy it? That's number one. Now, which brings the whole commercial aspect, the aesthetic aspect, as I've spoke. So that's one important piece. Uh, Now, going a little back onto the chain, what are the challenges? I thought predominantly the three big challenges that I see. One, what I create, is it efficacious enough? Does it really meet my consumers' need? That's very important because health is a serious business. Number two, can I do it consistently and continuously? because let's understand, health and wellness is a moving piece. Every new day, there is a new thing which is happening across. So what was efficacious, let's say 2 years back, maybe poisonous today. I'm just making it up. So it's a moving piece. So can I continually, offer consumers that? So that would be another big challenge. And third is probably the information part of it. Are we all geared to give our consumers the right information? Now, how does the consumer really make a choice? Now, I have, let's say, on the shelf, half a dozen bottles of, let's say, multivitamins. I'm making it very simple. Which one do I buy? They all look similar. They all cost similar. What do I need? And let's be fair. What Saif needs for his body, I may not essentially need the same. I'd have my own requirements. Now, does a fit all formula really work? So I would see these are the three major challenges in my view, which we need to work to get the consumer what the consumer is asking for.
From a manufacturer point of view, actually, what I think is the value addition to the product is a very important thing, because then only it will be accepted by the market if there is something good or something innovative, we can say. Like definitely for the toothpaste we take it, but there are some positive things out of that. It doesn't contain or may not contain fluoride or some chemicals out of it. Then definitely we need to understand this, and making the product acceptable and adaptable, which can be adopted by the mass consumer. Because the good product cannot be limited to the certain the niche market or kind of things. It has to be have a good reach in the market, and definitely understanding the value of each and every product separately. Like we talk about organic, it is something different from the conventional food or some conventional product. The same thing we talk about the pesticide and heavy metals free product. It has to be definitely treated in a separate way and more beneficial, more healthier way. Like, and as far as the concern of pricing, I understand that there are different factors and different way to have a different effect of the pricing. Like for a simple example, we are talking about turmeric. Then the turmeric powder consumed as in a food, straightforward. But if we are talking about having a health benefit out of it, then we have an extract which is 95% pure out of it. So using it, and then what kind of doses, what kind of product we are making it. Or the same thing, the licorice we can talk about. We can have the licorice straightforward in a powder form, giving a different effect or the same kind of effect in particular doses. If we make extract out of that, it is then again a more valued product. But if we isolate a particular compound like the MAG, which is the natural sweetener, then being used in a different segment, giving a different niche to the product, and definitely the value addition to the product. Then see, pricing, placing of the product need to be understood, and the value addition has to be done in a final product which is going to be to the consumer, to be acceptable in the consumer.
Absolutely. Sure. Thank you, Mr. Singh.
Samir, your views?
Apart from what everybody said, I remember a brand came to us and saying that their product is organic. Okay. And then I said, okay, I saw all the ingredients in the product. And I asked them, do they have the organic certificate for all the ingredients? And they were blank. Okay. They said they have few, but not for everything. So if you don't have organic certificate for everything, the product cannot be called as organic. That's what normally in FSI and weights and measurement create a problem that this is not right. So getting, in fact, terming a product organic has its own merits, but it requires a lot of certifications and all. And and every time you are sourcing a new ingredient or same ingredient but from multiple sources, you need to have the certification from the source. Only then the final product can be termed as organic. And I agree that things are changing. People want preservative free and an organic product, but it has its own lead time to source it and get the certifications and all. and launch it. I think that takes time, and that's one of the challenging things which I see.
Great, thanks. Thanks,
Perfect.
Manoj. Sergio, what are, I mean, your points on this, some remarks on this, on
Absolutely.
the do's and don'ts.
I'll be happy to share. What I can say is that this is not an easy task, and this is something that not only ourselves but also other industries and other retailers across the world have tried to face. And sometimes when you take a just to give you an example, you take an artificial flavor or coloring out of the ingredient, the consumers that got so used to the way that the food looks and feels to them, and what is the taste about, that when you get to the final product, it's actually not there. And I think that also resonates a lot with what Saif was saying before, which is when you build the product, even if it's organic and you give to the end consumer, and this is a better proposition in terms of nutrition and value overall, is that the consumer might end up saying that, it might be all of that, but then the taste is not there, the quality that I was used to, it's not there. And that is a very interesting part, because even if we look at the organic, for instance, when organic started all the booming and across the world, we saw a lot of products starting to have an organic claim and becoming organic, even if it's not full organic, just partially. But what was interesting is that initially consumers were actually though gravitating to that because it had an healthy proposition, though some products organic might not be healthy. I mean, there's always that caveat. What is interesting is that the consumers were actually saying that the product didn't taste that well, and then they might buy it the first time, but then they didn't continue buying because the taste was not there. And eventually, in the end, I mean, we want to continue enjoying our food, not making that sacrifice, though having a more nutrition and more qualitative offer in the end. What I can also see, and I mean, just connecting with what all of you said, is that this is not an easy task. This is not a quick fix. This is something that will endure. And obviously, as Prince was also saying, it's always constantly evolving as well. I mean, we see the Alfie proposition right now. If we consider also last year, a lot of development in terms of having a more healthy proposition for consumers has been done on plant-based, for an instance. We see plant-based coming across all segments, from food to non-food as well. So that has increased tremendously. We also see retailers addressing a lot more having a clean label. And just last month, we see a major retailer in France announcing that they've removed a lot of chemicals, a lot of artificial flavors and colorings from their 900 products of private brands. On plant-based alone, we also saw Metro announcing last week that they will be launching a vegan range on their Metro Chef range, so for the first time. So those are all important initiatives and moves that the industry is making, retailers. But always in the end, we need to make sure that this is a compelling offer for consumers from a quality perspective, from a taste perspective, but also from a price affordability perspective. Because if consumers cannot afford it, they will not buy it, and then in the end, it's that share of the pie that you were also talking about that we will not get, right? It's how much is this really going to generate in the end, okay? And that would be a little bit my inputs on this.
Great, thanks, Sergio, thanks.
No,
We'll
no
just take a couple of questions quickly because we've already exceeded time. Surprisingly, I've got some questions on my WhatsApp chat and not on the chat box here. So I'll have to just quickly, just go through this. Yeah, I've got a question from Sujit. It says, for pharma manufacturers, sorry, this is it. For pharma manufacturers who are looking at entering into the FMCG space, any advice or thoughts that they need to look at while entering the space from a product development and a launch perspective? Prince or Seth, from your pharma, or I could say health background?
Yeah, should I?
Yeah, please.
Sorry.
Please, please.
Yeah, I think the healthcare sector, and the opportunity is some part of the nutraceutical ingredients are associated with the pharma, and we had an opportunity to interact with the companies who are already in the pharmaceutical sector, and I think they have a very good, the priorities and what I can say, the pitch already prepared, the platform they have ready to roll on when we are talking about the nutraceuticals, because I think the ingredients which are really effective in terms of the elements or the effect are already being used in nutraceuticals, and like lycopene or the beta carotene or the omegas are already being in the pharmaceuticals, and they are now the part of the food or the supplement also. So they have a need, they have an priorities to roll on their product, the segment, and they can add. They have again, the freedom of adding the kind of vitamins on that which they already have. The sourcing or the stocking, all kind of things. So they are the person who are really near to the nutraceuticals market rather than from the herbal or from the healthcare other sectors or from the IU sector. So I think they can do it comfortably, and that they are known to the regulations, they are known to the formulations, the quality. They can deliver the best to the market and to the consumer. So I think they are at the best level.
Thank you. Thanks, Mr. Singh. Sir?
Sorry.
Sorry, Samir.
Seth, please.
So what Mr. Singh is saying is perfectly right. It hardly matters from which background or pharma or from wherever you are coming, till the time you are meeting that PQRS wala thing. You have a good portfolio.
Because tea also.
The tea.
Quality products, and with all the licensing, and obviously you would have a good relation with the different stakeholders in terms of raw materials and packaging things, and that till the time specs is working out with a nice packaging and nice pricing, so the consumer can have that product, quality product, can afford it. So till the time you coming from any stream, it hardly matters, and come into FMCG anytime.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks. Samir?
Yeah, so one guidance we keep. So I remember one manufacturer contacted me and they were said they had ready-made kada. Okay. Now the thing is, before coming into FMCG industry, please ensure the product has a longer trading period now, because kada is no longer having a longer trading period. Like everybody is now not worried about COVID and all, because the vaccine has already come. So if you want to get into the FMCG, ensure that the product which you are launching has a larger trading period now, looking in future, rather than just looking at the past.
Okay. Interesting point. Mr. Chatterjee?
Well, I thought, see, this space is essentially extremely contested. There are a lot many people trying to do a lot many things. Now, my suggestion would be the following: that either you get doing what others are doing, you get doing that much better than others,
Correct.
or alternatively, find out something which is unique, and you can stand, in front of an audience and say, look here, I do something so unique, no one else has it. So either you be, copying others absolutely superbly well. Your packaging looks awesome. The product is absolutely brilliantly priced. No complaints on the product, high on efficacy, so on and so forth. Or alternatively, choose to innovate something which no one else has thought. So those would be my suggestions. But there is plenty of room, of course, I must say. The only thing is that the competition is very intense.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for that. Just an interesting query actually from a startup perspective, the importance of packaging, especially from a private brand. We've touched base upon this point in some of our earlier sessions as well. When do you think is the right stage for them, or what, according to you, is the actual stage to get into the packaging side of things? Is it at the beginning, at the conceptualizing stage, or closer to finish?
Samir, you want to take?
You do it, please.
So for me, it should be on the conceptualizing phase only. The packaging is one important aspect of any product. Like I have seen in my past experiences, in my past assignment, that packaging is one thing which enabled consumer to pick up your pack, right? So be it in general trade, e-com, or wherever it be, but that packaging plays a very important part after the product quality, obviously. So if packaging is good and somebody want to get into packaging things, so it should the first kick. It should not be planned in the last or later stage. Ke abhi hum kar lete hain packaging. We have done all that. Packaging is one thing which always enables you. It enables the category. It enables the consumer, and everywhere. So in whole product life cycle, in whole consumer life cycle, packaging is one thing which always enables you. So I think it's very important, and it should be coming at the very first stage.
Okay, great. Samir, any points to add?
Yep. So see, the packaging, defines the positioning of the brand in the market. Okay, be it online or offline. Okay, and hence it should match the positioning. If it is targeted to a premium client, the packaging should match that premiumness. Okay, you cannot give because the pricing demands that all these kind of packaging. Okay, if you have a premium packaging with a lesser price, the value will get diluted of the packaging, right? So it depends on the positioning of the product, what you want to position it as. Is it a mass product? Is it a niche product? Is it a premium product? And based on that, the packaging should meet that particular demand.
Perfect.
What he is saying is like true, and your packaging should marry the product and every stage. It is so important. Like he currently pointed out, its packaging is very premium, product is for the mass, so it will not work. So it should marry with the product on each and every part. So that's how the packaging is very important.
I'd maybe like to add one more important point. So, absolutely no denial. The most important facet of a product at the first instance is the packaging. So, if the packaging looks shoddy, the consumer does not even look at it. It's like, you know what? There's a beautiful Ferrari outside my home, and all heads turn. So it's something like that. So a good packaging really does that punch. But having said that, I would probably go into three different angles of a packaging, which we need to really keep in mind. One, the look and feel. That's important. That is something that we have spoken. The second, the functionality. Now, it depends on the channel. I have peg hooks, for instance. I, as a retailer, I have peg hooks, but the packaging comes in a bottle. Where do I keep? Now, so the functionality of the packaging is very important. Again, similarly, the packaging is quite unwieldy. It's large. It's huge. I can't really hold it well in my hand. Now, are those some of the things that we got to really figure out? Is it going to be inside a glass bottle? Is it going to be in a plastic bottle? What's the optimal? Now, these are another second angle of the packaging. And the third, importantly, in today's context, the information on the packaging. Can we make it quite idiot proof so that any consumer could pick up the packet, read it, understand what it means, what's in it for me, and then easy to buy? So are we making it easy for the consumer to buy? So those probably are the three things that I would technically be very paranoid about. And I thought these are very important phases, because unless we think as a consumer, we'll probably never get it. No sooner I am a manufacturer, no sooner I am a retailer, and I do not look at the product from the consumer perspective, probably I'm doing a lot of wrong. And which was precisely the point what Sergio said or Saif said. Organic product, it really doesn't taste good. It doesn't really look like my old toothpaste. After some time, I disown it. Who cares? So
True.
So we got to really think like the consumer.
Great. Thanks for those points, Mr. Chatterjee. Great to have you guys on the panel and share your insights. Before we quickly end, we'll just have a last closing remark from each of you. Sergio, you're on mute, Sergio.
Sorry for that. Once again, I would like to really thank you for the opportunity. It's been a pleasure and a privilege to have this opportunity to be here with you guys today. I think a lot of what we said is obviously, regardless of how we tackle health and wellness, we need to make sure that from a both manufacturer, from a both retailer perspective, we continue to put consumer at the core of our goal, and that is a key point, because we might have everything well formulated, we might have everything from a commercial perspective well built, but then if it is not a compelling offer for the consumer, it's not going to go anywhere. So we need to make sure that this triangle of consumer, retailer, manufacturer, we make sure that this loop is well built and well formulated, so that in the end the results are there. I think from what we've been saying is that also health and wellness is been evolving tremendously. We saw that before consumers were looking very much to tackle a specific part of their health, being that joint, gut, or mental. Now it's more an overarching all of those, and how we can improve our life and throughout the life cycle. It's also from a manufacturer and supply and retailer relationship. How can we build stronger bonds, and how can we cooperate more closely together to build a compelling offer for consumers? Because we want to make sure that the quality is there, the taste is there, but also that it's affordable. Because if we make something that is really very well crafted, but then it's not affordable, it's difficult for consumers to take it and enjoy it. And in the end, what we want to all do is either reaching out that as a product or a brand or an offer proposition, is to have something that consumers can enjoy and want to come back to buy more and continue enjoying alongside with us. And that's a key piece of it. Just on these last words from Prince and what we were talking about packaging, and it's vital. And I think, Prince, you said it very well. It's even before consumers enjoying the product, the first contact is with the packaging. So we need to make sure, and packaging is not only important for how we communicate to consumers, how consumers are going to use it from a functionality perspective, but also even for manufacturers and retailers. Is it easy to produce? Are we addressing already sustainable measures in producing such kind of packaging? But also for retailer, from my operational perspective, can I easily stock that? Can I easily put that available on shelf for my consumer? So there's a lot of it also to take in, and we want to make sure that what we communicated from a packaging to ingredients to our offer proposition for consumer is consistency, and there's a clear communication there that goes out from ingredient to the source of supply. Okay. And that would be just my closing on that.
Thanks, Sergio. Samir?
Thank you.
So going by the old school way, we keep health as wealth, and I think we as a retailer and manufacturer are going to play an important part in ensuring that our country, and each country has the entire community have good health, and their wellness and their well-being is in our hand, and the way we can contribute positively should matter much. That's what my closing statement.
Good. Thanks, Samir. Sir?
Yeah, for me, what Sergio said, that in India, natural is a route to germ kill and all those things. And for manufacturing partner, obviously, all of us are talking. So I have a message for consumer here, being a consumer and being a sports enthusiast. But for all the consumer who are watching, so be conscious while choosing your product. Do regular exercise, be healthy. See, you guys are important for us, for your family, and for the world. So please be happy, be healthy. That's it.
Nice one. Thanks, sir. Mr. Singh?
Yeah, we can see the final words. The first of all, thank you to you and the Cmpl Expo for giving us an opportunity to interact with the genius people in the panel and to our consumers. Definitely, we try to deliver the user-friendly, safest quality product to the consumer through our retail partners. And definitely, I will request my industry partners to explore our capabilities to develop, to manufacture, and deliver the international quality product, and which we can customize as per the requirement, because see, we keep on adding value addition on the final product, which is really helpful, healthy, and beneficial for the final consumer. Then please explore our capabilities, and definitely, end of the day, be healthy, be fit, whether in office or home, and
Sure.
enjoy.
Thank you. Thanks. Finally, Mr. Chatterjee.
So Vicky, I 100% agree with all of them. It's always fun to be at this forum. So it's really lovely. You get to speak, you get to learn a lot. So that's always fun. So thank you for taking these endeavors. So it's really interesting. My other message, which is more from the perspective of retailers or a representative of the industry, I thought we are already at the cusp of exploring a huge window of opportunity as far as health and wellness is concerned. Now, thanks to COVID, it has only fast-tracked our appreciation for health and wellness. Now, health and wellness today is more of I living better I am able to reverse some of my problems or foreseeable problems, and I halting some of those problems. Now, that's probably the new simple definition of health and wellness. So staying fit inside as well as outside, reversing some of these syndromes and arresting some of the syndromes. Now, so the consciousness is already here. Interestingly, as Sergio has also mentioned, vegan, plant-based. India has been a land of all of these, which we call as Ayurveda. So it all grows from here. So we already have the masalas here. So why don't we create our own, future of these products and the industry? So that's point number 2. We spoke about packaging, etc. All of those things will fall in place. But I thought there's a huge opportunity. There's a huge consciousness, and if we are not taking plunge right now, we'll probably missing the bus. And I thought none of us, we love to miss our buses. So let's not miss the bus. Let's get onto the bus. Let's start doing the right thing. And as more and more people gather to do these things, we will automatically find we are learning, from others. We are making lesser mistakes, and probably we will know what good looks like. So those would be my my views.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Mr. Chatterjee. So great. Yes. So finally, thanks each one of you, Sergio, all the way from Portugal, because the technology seems like you're in the other room next door to us. So great to have you. Samir, thanks once again for joining us. Saif, Mr. Singh, and Mr. Chatterjee. Thanks for spending, your time with us. We've exceeded by about 25 minutes or so. So, thanks for your understanding and support, like always. We'll stay in touch for a lot of our future endeavors and a lot of interesting things coming up, on the platform. We seek your support and, collaboration in the future as well. Thanks for joining.
Thank you. All the best.
Thank you all.
Pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thanks.
Pleasure.